So what we got here is we're trying to put this. We're on the DBX 160. So what we're doing here is we just made this capacitor, electrolytic capacitor, a bigger one. It's 100 by 100 volt, and the old one's 100 at 25 volt. Always save the leads because you can use them for other stuff. We got the reading on the top so you can read it. You can even see F and T, so that's fine. So that's all in place. We got the plus on the plus side. (2018). So I just tested all these caps that were pulled out. I replaced these two, which were these two, 1000 at 35 volts, and then I just replaced this one and that one. One was 100 microfarad 25, and the other one was 22 at 16. And so, since those all came out good using the ECR meter, we'll also do another check with the Fluke 12. Make sure the microfarads are correct. Get an accurate reading with this capacitance reader. So, we'll check that. And then, otherwise we'll stop here. And I think that's done. Nothing was wrong with this. We just wanted to update it. And I think we did a good job here updating these. And this bigger cap here, which was actually 25 volts. But I had this cap in stock, so I'll just put that in. So everything's cleaned. All the connections, we'll spray these connections here. And check the wires, make sure the wires aren't in the way. Move the wires away, put the plug in, and then check all these wires, bend them out of the way a little bit. So before you slip on the back cover, it's a good idea to check all your solder joints. We actually had a few here that we desoldered and we missed. So we had two here, and then over here, that looks like a bad solder joint right there. That's nothing that I touched today, so that doesn't look too good either. So we're going to look around the whole board and start hitting these, because if you're not checking for these, then you're not doing a proper job. Look at that. That looks awful. So the first thing we do before we put in like capacitors, like these are the radial capacitors that are going to go here. We'll mark the board with the minus sign, plus sign, where it goes, because the last thing you need to do is have it backwards and then blow up some diodes and then spend hours trying to track it down what you did. So looks like that might be 1979. Okay, so we're going to mark this up and replace these capacitors, and then I think we have a few others we have in stock that we can replace right now. So put this in correctly now. Put the plus side on the plus side and the negative on the negative. There we go. Now we'll look at the pictures we took and make sure it's the same. Otherwise you'll blow some diodes here. So we got these nice and organized, nice and even, instead of off-placed. So we got the negative, although this one's wrong. So that's why I write it down. We got the plus, this is the plus, the line here is the minus. So see, this is the minus right here. That's the minus side when it has that line. Because that in fact is the plus side, and that's the plus side. So that's why they were offset like that. So it's good to double check and write things down, take pictures. so you don't make a mistake. So now I got double check again. That's a negative, that's a positive. Make sure these are going to the right ones. We'll look at the pictures just to make sure these are where the leads are supposed to go, and then we'll solder them up. And so it's because it's hard to tell on a radial because the indent here is not the same as the indent here. This indent right there, this indent right here is the plus side, and the arrow is pointing to, see the arrow there? Pointing to the negative side. We're going to put in this new Sozo. If I can find the fucker. Right there. dB. Most of the time it's around 65, 70.
The Marshall presence control is
we changed the mustard right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we were getting a dry tone. It was like a real anemic sound. I have 450 capacitance substitution box. The problem was it had like a dry sound to it where it would distort, but it was kind of harsh. I think it's cracked on this side. Just right in on the screw, so because they're all rusted. So. To get all the values, take the tube straightener, go through this way.